Can you all see my screen?
Yes, sir, we can see the screen.
Right. Okay. So welcome to our session on Jenkins and Spinnaker. So just to recap, so what we have done so far. Change my right. So basically, we have covered Kubernetes, and also we discussed microservices architecture, and also we just covered observability, right? Basically the concepts and all that, but so still we didn't cover the implementation part, but I just put a tick here because we have covered I just covered because we have covered the concepts and basically theory part on observability, right? And so this part, this Jenkins and Spinnaker, so we are going to discuss today, okay? And then with today's session, so it's almost done. We have discussed the concepts, CI/CD, DevOps, and we have discuss all the tools and the technologies involved in DevOps CI/CD journey. So and also before I move into today's sessions, Jenkins and Spinnaker, but I just put some ticks here, because so we are expecting you to complete the items I have just mark here. So we are because we have covered all these things, right? So we are expecting you have already created your account in AWS, and also so you have created EC2 instances, 3 instances in AWS, and also created and configure 3-node cluster, Kubernetes 3-node cluster in AWS, and also we are expecting you completed this Spring Boot application, simple Spring Boot applications. Okay. I can see 16 participants. So basically, excluding myself, at least we have myself and Mohan. We have actually 14. Right. And I actually want to understand, actual status මොන හරි blockers තියෙනවද නැත්නම් අපි මේ හිටන් අපි මේ sessions කරනවා තියෙනවා. නමුත් ඔයාලා ඒක කියන්නේ ඔයාලා මිස් වෙනව නම් වැඩක් නෑ නේ. අපි නම් කරගෙන ගිහලා වැඩක් නෑ. ඔයාලට මොන හරි හිර වෙලා තියෙනවද මොන හරි issues තියෙනවද? මොකද මම කැමති අද session එක ඉස්සරහට යන්න ඉස්සෙල්ලා මොකද මේක critical දැන් අපි අදින් පස්සේ entire CI/CD එක අපි කරලා ඉවරයි, කතා කරලා ඉවරයි. ඊට පස්සේ තියෙන්නේ implementation පැත්ත. කොහොමද අපි මේක implement කරන්න කියන හොයන්නේ. එතකොට දැන් කියන ඔයාලා කරලා නැත්තම් අපි ලොකු අමාරුවකට වැටෙනවා අපි හැමෝම. මොකද ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයාලා නේද? අයිඩියා නැතුව යනවනේ. ඉතින් මොකද තියෙන සිටුේෂන් එක හැමෝම AWS account එකක් හැදුවද? කවුද AWS account එකක් තාම හදන්න බැරි වෙච්ච අය පොඩ්ඩක් මට චුට්ටක් කියනවා. unmute කරලා please. කියන්නේ මෙහෙමයි මේක මුකුත් ඉතින් අයිඩියක් ගන්න යනවාලා කොහේ හරි හිර වෙලා ඉන්නවද මොකක් හරි නේද ප්‍රශ්නයකද ඉන්නේ අපිට සපෝට් කරන්න පුළුවන් කොහොමද ඒ වගේ පොඩි අයිඩියක් ගන්න මම හිතන ලක්ෂිත ඔයාගේ නම් හැදුවා නේද AWS account එක අදලා ඉස්සරහට ගියා නේද
මම AWS account එකයි අර last week එකත් කරා එතන නේ ඔපන්
සුපර් ඒ කියන්නේ මේ හතරම කරලා තියෙන දැනටනේ right එහෙමයි තව කවුද ඉන්නේ වගේ කම්ප්ලීට් කරපු අය
සර් මගේ නම් මේ ක්ලස්ටර් එකේ වැඩ යන්නේ Kubernetes ක්ලස්ටර් එක නෝඩ් තුන හදලා
ඒක දැනට මොනවාරි හිර වෙලා තියෙනවද තාරක කොහොමද අනේ දැනට කරගෙන යන්න පුළුවන් මට්ටම
දැනට කරගෙන යන්න පුළුවන් සර් මේ ලක්ෂිතගේ උදව් තියෙන හින්දා ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ
සුපර් ඒක තමයි අර නේද? ඒ කියන්නේ අපිම ගාවට එන්න ඕනේ නැහැ ටීම් එකේ. දැන් ඔයාලා දැන් කරපුවා දන්නවනේ. අයලගෙන් සපෝට් එක ගන්න නම් ආයෙත් හොඳයි. දෙන්නම ඉගෙන ගන්න. අපි දන්නනේ කොප්පි දාගෙන නේද? අමුතින් කියන්න දෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒකට හරි. තව මොනවද තියෙන්නේ කට්ටියට? තව කොහොමද? අනිත් අයගේ මොකද දැනට තියෙන ප්‍රෝග්‍රස් එක? පසින්දු ප්‍රබුද්ධික කුමාරි සචින් මෙමය කියන්නේ කියන්න අන්මියුට් කරලා මොකක්ද නැත්නම් මුකුත්ම කරලා නැත්නම් වෙලාවක් නැද්ද නිකන් ෆීඩ්බැක් එක ගන්න. ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයාලා කොහරි හිර වෙලා ඉන්නවද?
සර් මම මේ ස්පින් බූට් මේ මයික්‍රෝ සර්විසස් ඇප්ලිකේෂන් එක හදන ගමන් ඉන්නේ. ඒක ටික කරලා තියෙනවා.
රයිට් සුපර්. ඒ ක්ලාස් ටිකක් හදලා ඉවරයි නේද?
ඔව් සර්.
නියමයි. අනිත් අය
සර් ටාස්ක් 4ම කරා.
කරලා තියෙන්නේ. ෂා.
ඔව්.
හොඳයිනේ. ගොඩක් අය කරලා රයිට්. අනිත් අය පොඩි අප්ඩේට් එකක් දෙන්න කොතනද ඉන්නේ කොහොමද කියලා. පසින්දු ප්‍රබුද්ධිකේම කොහොමද? නවංචනා
පළවෙනි ටාස්ක් 4 කරලා තියෙනවා.
පයින් හතරම ඉවරයිනේ. රයිට්.
ඔව්.
සුපර්. හරි. එතකොට මම හිතනවා අනිත් අයත් එහෙම වෙන්නේ නැති කියලා. එහෙම නැත්තම් මොන හරි වට ඉෂුව එකක් තියෙනවා නම් මොන හරි બ્લોක් එකක් තියෙනවා නම් sorry දැන් chat එකද ඕකේ chat එකේ ඉන්නේ edit super thank you okay right super ඉතින් හැමෝම හිතන්නේ කරලා තියෙන්නේ right thank you ඔයාලගේ feedback එකට update එකට මොන හරි තියෙනවා නම් මොන හරි support එකක් ඕන නම් කොහේ හරි හිර වෙලා නම් තියෙන්නේ message එකක් දාන්න බලන්න ඉස්සෙල්ලාම ඔයාලගේ කරපු කට්ටියත් එක්ක කතා කරන්න හරි එහෙම නැත්නම් message එකක් දාන්න අපි කොහොම හරි ඒ කියන්නේ නැත්නම් අපි මේ effort එක අපරාධනේ ඒකද ඔයාලා කොහොම හරි මම හිතනවා දැන් මේ අන්තිම ලෙවල් 15 දෙනෙක් ඉන්නේ දැනට නේද 15 කියන්නේ 12 13ක් වගේ ඉතින් ඔයාලට ඇත්තට මේ ඒක ඕන හින්දා තමයි මේ ඇවිල්ලා ඉන්නේ මොකද මම හිතන්නේ පටන් ගන්නදී තිබ්බ ඊට වඩා account එකක් හිටියා මොකද ඉතින් මේ කට්ටිය එන ඔයාලට ඕන හින්දා එන්නේ ඔයාලට මොන හරි හිර වෙනවා නම් කියන්න අපි support කරන්න ඒතකොට මේකෙන් මම හිතන ගොඩක් දේවල් වලට ඉන්ඩස්ට්‍රි එකට යන්න ඉස්සෙල්ලා ලොකු හොඳ එක්ස්පෝෂර් එකක් හම්බ වෙයි කියලා. හරි. Thank you very much update එකට. හරි. So then we are going to start today's session. Okay. So everyone can see my screen, right? Visible?
Yes, sir, we can see the screen.
Right. Thank you. Okay. So as I said, so today we are going to discuss about Jenkins and Spinnaker. Okay, so let's look at what is Jenkins, right? So Jenkins again is a tool written in Java programming language. It's an open source tool where you can use for continuous integration, right? I hope you remember what is continuous integrations, what is continuous deployment, right? Deliver and deploy. So I think we discussed some time back. Just to like recap, continuous integration is nothing but it's like getting fetching changes in from different branches or the repositories into and into one and so build. Right, so delivery is like it's deploying whatever the you have built, deploying application into environment, right? So basically, Jenkins is used to. In our case, we are using for continuous integrations, but still you can use for continuous delivery as well. But this case, we are mainly focusing Jenkins in CI context, basically we are going to use Jenkins for continuous integrations. And also in Jenkins, we have something called pipelines, right? Pipelines are basically what you call I would say like it help you to like automate your process. Like for example, let's say if you want to I think you remember, right? This one, I'm going back. Yeah, see. So this is Jenkins, right? So Jenkins, you need to like get source code, right, from somewhere, right? Maybe GitHub or maybe Bitbucket or somewhere. So you have to like pull your source code and build, right? So the commands that you're going to basically execute. For example, to pull the code from the repositories, and then maybe you need to like validate code, source code to make sure you don't have any code defects, and likewise maybe you need to execute some test cases. So all these can be defined in a pipeline in Jenkins, right? Yeah, so as you can see, like detect defects in code base, and then you can actually what do you call you can, as I said, you can actually deploy the whatever the binaries you have built into your environment. Maybe you have a production environment, you have QA environment, right? There might be several environments. No? So basically, Jenkins is used to get this code base and build and validate the your source code and deploy. Okay, but in our case, so we are going to see. So we are going to actually Jenkins basically will be used to only for CI, like continuous integration. So you pull the code, right, and then you validate the code base, and then the binaries will be pushed into some repositories. We are not going to like deploy the binaries into your environment using Jenkins, right? So for that, actually, we are going to use Spinnaker. I will discuss about Spinnaker in next slides. So in Jenkins, actually, we have several plugins. Plugins are basically used to enhance your functionality, right? For example, let's say I'm pretty sure you have used Eclipse, right, for your development, right? So in Eclipse also we have so many plugins, right? So you can actually you can to validate your to improve or identify code quality issues, you can use some code quality plugins, right? PMD, find bugs, so many plugins, and maybe to push your code into what do you call Git branches, repositories. So you can use Git plugins. So plugins are basically used to enhance the functionality, right? The existing functionality. Same here. So in Jenkins also we have so many plugins, right? For example, you have plugins for Kubernetes and then Docker and then AWS, right? And also Jira. They have actually thousands of plugins. You can use them to achieve your requirement. Okay, achieve your basically the target that you want to get from Jenkins, right? And that is about Jenkins. Now we are going to discuss Spinnaker, right? As I said, so we are going to use Spinnaker for continuous deployment. Okay. Again, Spinnaker is also open source tool. The important part is multi-cloud continuous. It support for multi-cloud, right? And also you can actually use mainly for deployment, right? To deploy your changes, the binaries into your cloud native platform or like to your environment, you can use Spinnaker. These are the few features basically I have listed down, and first one is pipeline as code. In here also the commands, the whatever you want to execute during your build process in Spinnaker, you can put all the commands and basically the things in your pipeline, and then can be maintained in through source code basically in some, like Git or SV, like you can use basically repositories to maintain all this pipeline, and also it's basically a safer cluster deployment. For example, let's say if there's any errors, right? So let's say if you like trying to build what do you call your application is deploy your application using Spinnaker, and then you at the middle you identify some issues, right? There might be different issues you can come across, but in that case you can roll back your deployment. And also let's say so when you're like trying to like update basically update the your deploy, you can actually implement locking mechanism, and also and avoid downtime. So you don't want to like let's say this is basically like deployment. So for example, you have binary application, you are now using Spinnaker, you are trying to put all the those binaries into your environment, maybe production environment, queue environment, and you don't like disturb the environment. You don't like down entire environment and do the deployment, right? So Spinnaker support basically without downtime, without what do you call stopping the services, you can actually do deployments. Maybe different architecture, but still possible. And also and Spinnaker make sure you basically execute proper execution in your pipeline, right? So maybe there might be cases like there might be like different scripts and what do you call it might try to execute same sort of test, right, scripts, right? But still you can actually like manage all these scenarios. And also, as I said, again, looking pipelines. And if you don't want to like basically modify them by others, so you can simply go and lock your pipelines, right? So and also like I just mentioned like few features, like explaining some of the features. Likewise, and also you can actually impose an authorization process for certain deployments, right? And yeah, so again, automatically rollback also possible, and orchestrated validation. So in Spinnaker, actually, you can implement conditional checks, right? So based on your requirement, you can implement some conditional checks, and also uh, uh, you can test your applications in chaos engineering, chaos integration. So I think so we'll be discussing this maybe during next session. And also one of the item that we're discussing, observability auditing and reporting to best practices. So you can actually trigger notifications. You can send email, SMS, or Slack messages, and also it helps you to actually retain versioning history of pipelines and track the changes and the modifications. Likewise, there are actually many benefits you can get from Spinnaker, and so I think now, like if you go back to like this the architecture, right? I mean the implementation flow that we're going to achieve here. Here I have just put that into kind of a logical way, like just to get what is CAI and what is CD, and then how these two tools actually play their role in CI/CD, right? So from here, actually, as you can see, this is CI, right? You get the code and you build, and then you generate your artifacts, maybe binaries, right? Jar files, so those binaries, and then you push that into repository, right? In our case, so we are going to use Docker Hub, right? You push the code, build and then publish the artifacts here. Okay, that is CI, continuous integration. Okay, so CI, for this actually we are going to use Jenkins as the tool, CI tool. So Spinnaker will pull the artifacts and deploy into your environment. Okay, that is CD, continuous deployment. We are going to use Spinnaker. Okay, yeah, that's about Jenkins and Spinnaker. Do we have any questions before moving to next session, next presentation? Any questions on CI/CD, Jenkins, Spinnaker? Okay. If you need if you have anything to clarify, please you can post a message on WhatsApp group. I think yes, I'm done with the Jenkins and Spinnaker. Mohan, yes, you can continue the session.
Yeah, sure. So could you please make as a host?
Yes.
Oh. So let me share my screen. Please let me know what will see my screen.
Yeah, we can see.
So hi everyone. So today I'm planning to discuss about how monitoring can be applied to practice like in live environment. So during last session, Indika has done a good session about monitoring and observability. So I hope you have done your homework and you have done some research and you may now confidence or you may understood about monitoring concept, monitoring, and why we are going with the observability at the moment. What are the benefits on observability? So I'm not going to talk about these theories at the moment. So since it's already completed, so today we'll go with how we can apply this monitoring in our day-to-day environment. So moving to the slide. So these are the subtopics I'm going to touch today's session, as well as I'll walk you through about one of monitoring tool and you will get an idea about that. So before start this session, so you may already aware of that this monitoring is a much complicated when we have a complicated technologies or the system. So we need to spend much effort on monitoring. So this won't be a practical scenario if you have around 100 plus servers and so many applications. So we need to have a tool in order to reduce the effort, as well as we can easily do our monitoring across all the environment or the application. So there are some tools, common, the popular tools available in the market. So Dynatrace, Splunk, Elk, and so mistakenly I have mentioned Splunk in the two different areas, so just ignore that, and so on. So when it comes to the tools, so there are two types of tools available in the market. One is a licensed version. So you have to obtain a particular subscription in order to use these tools. So you have to pay some cost, and based on that, it will give you some features. Sometimes you can freely use some features, but if you need to extend or if you need to go with the advanced monitoring, then probably you have to pay. And most of the time, these are cannot customize, so you have to use the given product. And when it comes to the open source, so it's freely available. You don't need to pay any cost or any. You don't need to obtain any license, and you can customize based on your requirement, based on the areas you need to monitor. And apart from these two common types, there is a one more type available. This is something that developed by your organization or your client. So you will get an permission to use this particular tool or the specific tool for the monitoring. So you cannot Google it or you cannot able to find in market, but you may find a similar versions, but the exact version you cannot find it. So because it was developed by either the company or the organization or the client. So so either you have to use one tool or multiple tools to do the monitoring. So easily you can monitor your system. And when it's come to the features, so sometimes you have to use multiple tools, because in one tool you won't get the all features which you want to monitor. So you have to use different tools. For example, you need to use Splunk to do the log monitoring, and sometimes you have to go with the Selenium tool to do the journey monitoring, because in the Splunk this feature is not available. So based on that, based on the requirement, you have to use multiple tools. And these are something similar, so don't need to worry about how this monitoring will happen in the exact tool, but there are some certification you can do. So you can be expert on a particular tool if you want. And the second point will be what is what is to monitor. So you have a now monitoring tool, then what need to be monitored. So basically there will be two areas, so common areas. One is infrastructure level monitoring. So in the infrastructure level, it's nothing but monitoring your CPU, memory, disk utilization, all the monitoring related to the infrastructure. Then comes with the business monitoring. So business monitoring is something related to your business. For example, if your business is about online platform to monitor, sell books, then this is related to your business then. So you can monitor how many hits were received for your site during a day or during a particular period, or based on the time period. And out of that, how many responses were received at 200 success responses. And sometime you can identify purchase count. I mean, how many orders were placed to purchase some books. So based on that, you can identify that your shopping cart is working fine. So based on your business, you can identify what need to be monitored based on the business perspective. So please feel free to ask any question if you have, or send a message as usual. So I respond to you. And so in this is I'm just giving you a high level idea about these things, because it will take some time, much longer time, to explain each of these areas. And the third point is how you can establish your KPIs. So and the goals. So now we have a tool. Okay. Now we understood what need to be monitored. So you have listed down. And the third point is, what are the KPIs and the goals? What is your target? Okay. So you need to define. So there will be two areas, like your client will provide you a KPIs, list of areas or the list of targets what need to be monitored. So KPI means key performance indicators. So how you can identify your application or your system is giving your best performance. So client will give you targets, like at least you have to achieve this in order to achieve your targets. Or else if you are working on your own business, then you have to define your targets. For example, let's say now, so let's get the same example. It's an online bookshop. So you can define one KPI as availability. So this is a common KPI. So availability means how you avail your system or the website to the customer, because the availability is a critical factor, because all the activities can be performed only if your website is available. So again, there will be a response time, how much it will take to response back, or it will take much time to load. Then again, there will be another KPI for latency. So likewise, you can define your own KPIs, or else you can align with the KPIs given by the client. So once you define the KPIs, then you can identify the sub KPIs or sub areas. Because, for example, let's get the first example. You have even like availability. Now you have set a monitoring or the KPI for the availability on all the bookshop. For example, www.mybookshop.com. This is your site. So you are setting a KPI. This URL, this web page should be available. Let's say 90% or let's say 99%, because there will be a difficulty. We cannot keep the system 100% up. Due to any reason, it will be not possible actually. So this is the main KPI you have set. As a sub project, so the sub KPIs you can identify. Okay, in the www.mybookshop.com website, there are major two areas. One is just to view the books or list down the available books, and the other part is purchase the book. Then you can set the same alert or the same monitoring KPIs for these two as well. Likewise, you can create sub alerts for every monitoring or every KPIs you have set. So it will cover all the areas. And this is the way you can identify what need to be monitored. Okay. Then you can create the dashboard or the alerts in your monitoring tool. So quickly, let me show. So in the fourth point, I'll come back. I'll walk you through about a monitoring dashboard, so you will get an idea how you can create a simple, basic dashboard, and how you can manage this 1 and 2 and 3 points are achieved. So let me show my. Okay, so currently I'm using Dynatrace tool to walk you through about this monitoring activities, so the monitoring fact. So I have two instances. One is I call as a app instance, and the other one is a DB instance. So I didn't host any web page or any application at the moment, because I'm just giving a basic idea. But in the app instance, I have installed Apache HTTPD, and in the DB instance, I have installed MySQL. So you will understand the process then. Okay. So, but there are no actual database exist, or there are no any actual application exist in these servers. So in the Dynatrace, so after this session, I'll quickly go through about how you can install it if you are interested. But this is a license one, so it will give you only 15 days of time to freely access this tool. But in coming lectures, we are discussing about free so open source tools as well. So in there also you will get an idea and how you can modify your tools. So in here, what I have done is I have created infrastructure dashboard at the moment because I don't have a tool, so I didn't create a business dashboard. So in here, I have created some widgets or some dashboard. Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, the infrastructure level, you can monitor CPU, memory, disk utilization, and everything. Okay. So in here, I have used CPU utilization, memory utilization, and the process availability and the availability. So this is a availability graph. Title should be changed. This is a default change. And I have used the same widgets to show me the current status. So you will be surprised why I'm using a same stack in a different way. So reason is in the CPU utilization, if we focus on this widget, then you will get an idea how the CPU is work. So suddenly DB host CPU has increased to 100% on at around 880. Okay, but we can see that it was almost 0% previous trend. So in here you will get an idea about the trend, how it's happened and what has happened. So it's maintaining this 100% of the CPU till now. Okay, the same information will be shown in here, but it will give you the current status only. So at the moment you will see that DB host is 100%. Okay, so even though it will show you the same utilization or the same information, but based on that you can get two different ideas or two different information to easy to analyze your problems or the issues. Okay. So in here, so let me move quickly to the host. So in here, I have mentioned app host one as our application host, and this is the DB host. Okay, so we have only two hosts. That's why it's mentioned as a two host in here. So let me go back to the dashboard. Then you will see these hosts in here. Okay, so that's why it's showing as two. So please let me know if you have any questions. But I'm not giving a training on how you can monitor the system through Dynatrace because this is only one. Have an idea about how you can monitor and what are the areas you need to monitor, then probably you can use other monitoring tool to replicate that as well. Okay, so this is simple area. Okay, so in here we can see host availability, and this is a memory utilization. So you know that the CPU utilization is 100% on DB host. Now we have an issue. So in this Dynatrace, it will give you areas that to identify problem. So what is this problem? Okay, what are the reason we need the problem or the notification? Let's say notification, okay? So now you know that we don't need to go in each server and check the every parameters or the KPIs individually, because in here, if you see this dashboard, then probably you can get a big picture. Okay, so in here I have only 2 servers, but let's say now there are 100 servers are available in my system, but it will show in here all the 100 servers, and it will give you what are the good health and what are the bad health, and what are the areas that will give you an error. For example, in the near future, this may be moving to red. So now it's giving a warning, okay, because my threshold has expired. So I'll give you a quick update on how we can share, create this color coding. So we call it as a rack status. So we are using green as a healthy. This is a yellow color. So amber, let's say amber color. This is a warning stage, and red color is a issue. Okay. So what we just discussed is what is the notification and what is the import. So even though we have any number of servers, and if we have a good infrastructure or the dashboards we have set up, doesn't matter if, for example, if you're not monitoring this dashboard, then there are no use, right? Because you won't see any issues. And let's say now out of business time, let's say now during the weekend, you are not supposed to work. And during that time, if you have any alert like this, or the notification like this, or the issue like this, then there are no point, because you are not monitoring this tool. Then you have reduced your effort, because in the single window, you can get the idea of what is happening across your application. But you need to allocate one resource or one person to keep monitor this tool. Otherwise, you won't get the benefits of having this tool. That's why we are moving from this the visualizing to notification. So notification, it's nothing but getting a alert. So we can call it as either email or either message or SMS, or sometimes it may be a automated call out, and it will be an incident. So I'll quickly come to this session after I'll walk you through about this Dynatrace tool and cover all the major part. So then you will get an understand what is this incident ticket and etc. So in here, there is a separate areas that we can see what are the problems are identified by this tool. Okay. So if I move quickly to this problem, okay, in here now, if you can remember what has happened in the red area, so let me quickly go back to that. So it will take some time to load. Okay, in here, this is CPU utilization is 100%. Now, if we go back to the DB host has impacted. Now, if we quickly go back to the problem, then the same information is visible in here. Okay, that because we have scheduled, we have created the problem to occur whenever any threshold reaches. So threshold is something like that's the target to achieve. For example, if we are let Dynatrace to raise a problem, if the CPU is more than 60%, then again we are asking in Dynatrace to alert us if the CPU is more than 95%. Likewise, we can create this problem. Okay. Now there is a problem has occurred, and it will give you a start time and required information where this occurred, and it will give you a alert profile. And this is something that how this got identified. It's So if you click on this problem, then probably you will get an idea, or it will give you a clear visibility on why this problem was raised and what has happened. Okay, so it will give you a trend when it's got occurred and what it has impacted. So based on that, you can identify how you can provide a fix. Okay, so either you need to restart your DB host, or how can it be done? So if you have multiple DB hosts, then probably you can move the traffic to the available or the healthy nodes, and you can restart this host, and you can allow the traffic to serve this host as well. And so it won't impact your service because other servers are serving the traffic. But in here, it's only one DB server. Now, if you impacted this, there are no options just to restart it. Otherwise, you cannot use the DB host to serve the traffic. Okay. Now, if I give you a quick on what has happened here, okay, in here, the internet is I will give you one more quick update. Okay. Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay. So what I'm trying to show you is what are the executing processes and how it has affected if I forcefully restart one service. So let me try to log into a server. Okay. Okay. So in here, what I'm trying to do is okay, now Apache service running on our app server. So I'm going to stop this HTTP server. Okay, then probably the interest will identify that the HTTP server is not working, and it will give us a alert. Okay, so meanwhile, so since the CPU utilization is 100% on DB instance, let me restart it, and we'll see what will happen. Okay, so it will take around 5 minutes to identify these changes. So we'll see. So if the CPU utilization of this database host is came back to normal level, then probably this problem will be disappear. Okay, we'll see. close it. Now in here, so there are no any open problem. Okay, so the problem got closed by automatic because we have restarted our what do you call our database host. So quickly, let me go to the host and see what is happening. I mean, whether it's got restarted. Not yet. It will take around 2-3 minutes to replicate it in here. As well as there should be an issue problem raised in app host because the HTTP service is not executing. So it will take around 5 minutes total to get it reflected. But let me do one thing. Since it takes some time, we'll cover the rest of the lecture and we'll get back here to see whether it's reflecting in here. Okay. So now probably you may understand why we need a dashboard or a monitoring tool to identify problems. Okay. So if we have an issue, then it will notify us. It will give us a problem. Then we can quickly check that issues, and there are some priority levels. So while I'm discuss about the, so in here, let's say now a database host keys came back to 75%. Okay, so the issue is now resolved. The host availability is 33% because this time frame is last 5 minutes. I mean, within last 5 minutes, what is the availability of this DB zone? So we have restarted. That's why it came to 33.33. So once we complete the remaining lecture, then probably this will came back to 100%. So that's so in here also we can see that. So DB host is the purple one. It's yeah, it's came back to 59. So it's reflecting, so it will be reflecting here as well. Now came back to 1, so it's coming down. So nothing serious now. So now you get an idea how we can identify identify the issues using our monitoring tool and how we can provide a fix. Okay, and what are the benefits we'll get from these tools as well. So coming back to our lecture, so let me look into the presentation. Okay, now what is this incident management? Okay, so when it comes to an incident, so this is an issue, or we can call it a ticket. So you have already experience of these issues or the incident management. For example, so if you have any issues in your SLT line or in dialog, so probably you may already place an complaint to their customer service. So I don't think that no one in here have experienced any issues in SLT or dialog or any telecom provider in Sri Lanka. So let's say in the SLT you are in dialog, you are complaining about any issues you are having to the customer service, then they will give you some instructions how to fix in their in their level. If the issue is not fixed, then they will create an alert or create a ticket against their second line team, technical team. So in your mobile phone, they will send you an SMS as well as they will give you a reference to a ticket. So as I experienced in the dialog, they will give you a ticket number or the reference as well as they will give you a SLA. SLA is how long it will take to fix your issue. It will give like within 3 working days, your issue will be fixed. Okay. So this is something that incident management, right? So you will identify any issues. So when it's come to the identifying an issue, it will be proactive manner, or it's maybe a reactive manner. Proactive is before occurring any issues, you can identify the issue, so you have some time to fix it, so there won't be impact to the line. So in the reactive mean, the issue is already occurred, so you have to provide a fix, because maybe service impacting, or maybe a live issue. So same as if you if I get the same example, if I give you, so whenever you are asking dialog or SLT and you are reporting an issue, then it will be a reactive manner, because as a user you are complaining about a service issue, so we can consider this as a reactive. So proactive issue is something that trigger from the tool or a monitoring tool. So in the previous example or the previous session, I mean the liner trace, when I show you that the CPU utilization is 100% in the database server, then it's a proactive. We have identified proactive. So someone, if our website is used by someone, or the application is used by someone, our user, if they complain regarding they cannot access the application, then we can consider this as a reactive. Okay. So whenever we are getting an issue, then it can be either proactive, it can be a reactive. Then we have to provide a fix within the given time period. Okay. So based on the priority or based on the criticality, it will be assigned a time. Sometime if the issue is a P2, then probably you have to provide a fix within 4 hours. Okay. So for example, if it's the P3 or a priority 3, priority 4 issues, then probably you have either 2 working days or 3 working days to provide a fix based on the criticality. You have to work on the issue. So when we so if you get the same issue like we had in the DB server, then it's the 100% CPU, and we have only one server, then it's a service impacting, right? Because we cannot handle any request. So it can be as a priority 2 or priority 1 issue. So immediately you have to provide the issue, provide a fix. Otherwise, you are breaching the agreement or the targets. So how these incidents or how these tickets will be handled? So there will be a ticketing tool. Sometime you can use your email, I mean the Outlook or the email box as well. But there are some advantages if you are using a ticketing tool. So there are open source tools as well, service now. And as I mentioned in the monitoring tool section, like there may be some tools created or developed by your client or your organization. Sometimes may be purchased. Okay. If you are using a ticketing tool, so what are the advantages you can get? So first, I mean, there may be a number of advantages, but probably you will get the log trail. Like you can trail what has happening from beginning to end, and how much time they has considered. Like if you can remember in the problem, it's got raised from the dyno trace. It has all the information when this was raised and when this was closed. Okay, and during that time, what has happened? So this is a problem. I mean, this is only a notification, but if you are using a alert or the ticketing tool, then probably you may have more information. Okay. Then you cannot change any content or any comment you have update in the previously. For example, let's say now mistakenly you have taken any other action to fix this particular issue, and if it didn't, and it took more than 2 days, and finally within next day you have complete this issue, but you missed to achieve your target, then your supervisor or your manager can review this alert or review this ticket, and identify what has happened, why this took much longer time to resolve. Then clearly it can the person or the manager can identify, okay, this was gone with the wrong direction, that's why it took time to resolve. Only during last 24 hours identify the correct fix, then it's got resolved. So they will identify how to prevent these issues going forward as a team. So what need to be done, how to document it, and if there's need, how to give a training, likewise. So it's a one more thing, and it will give you a SLA. Like if you have a 3 days, then how you can identify you are almost reaching your SLA. So how you can identify whether the SLA is reached or not? Because if you are using a mail tool, then probably you need to calculate this time by yourself. So it's very hard. But if you are using a proper ticketing tool, then probably this information is visible, and sometimes it will give you a email or notification. Okay, now you are reaching your SLA. Okay, I'm going to escalate your reporting manager or the manager, and automatically these emails or notification can be triggered. So those are the advantages, and there are so many advantages, but I'm just giving you a heads up. And what is this SLA and relevant KPI? So as I mentioned above, so SLA is like agreed time. So service level agreement, we can call it as SLA, but this is something like targets. If you are receiving a incident or the ticket with a priority 2, then probably you need to close it within 4 hours. If you are receiving a priority 4 alerts, then probably you have 3 working days, and you can spend time to fix this one. And sometime you can say that you need to pick it within 30 minutes, like whenever any issues occurred. So during that previous scenario, in the dashboard, we can see that there is an alert, okay? But there is a SLA or the agreement that we have to pick this issue within 30 minutes. Then even though you have fixed this issue within the given timeline, but if you fail to respond, so acknowledge this issue within the 30 minutes, then probably you are missing one failure or the one breaches. So likewise, you can create a targets, or else this will be given to you by the client itself. Okay. So do you have any question of this session today? So if you have any question, just post. And
just to
if you need to understand how this can be installed in your system, yeah.
just to add actually, so in our program, this what do you call it, session, so we'll be covering and we'll be discussing about elk and Prometheus as a part of observability. And so this is basically this the demo that you have seen here. It's on Dynatrace, right? As Mohan said, Dynatrace is a commercial product, but still you can try out, right, Mohan? Like you can install this and get some idea, play around, and
Yes.
but it's a mainly commercial product. But so in this program, actually, we'll be focusing on Prometheus, Grafana, and elk. Yeah. So did you get a kind of like, this is a good, I mean, you can get an idea, right? So what is basically observability and how do you like, what are the matrices you can, understand, you can get from the dashboards. So Dynatrace is a commercial product. It's really good. I hope you got the idea.
Yes. So if you want to try it by yourself, then just type Dynatrace in your Google. Then you probably get this. When you click on this official Dynatrace page, then you will get this window. Then click on this free trial. Then you need to give a email address, and no need to add any credit card, and you can use this tool for 15 days. Okay. So once you complete this registration, then you will redirect it to this page. Okay, in here you have to click on this deploy one agent. If you can't see this window, then probably you can open this app page and search it in here. Okay, deploy one agent. Okay, once you click on here, it will give you available way of downloading this agent. So we call this one agent. So this is the agent we are deploying our host. So this agent will gather all the requirement and push into this dashboard, or push into this the line trace. Then we can view in the customized way. So if you are using a Windows, either Linux or anything, you can click on that. Then in the first scenario, you need to create a token. So once you click on this, it will generate a token. If you have a already token, then you can paste in here. I mean, this will be the scenarios that you have already installed into one server and you are going with the other server. Then you probably have a token. But if you are brand new to this, then you need to create a token and keep it in a secure way, or the secure, not the secure, I mean, save it for further users. So in here, I'll just update. Okay, in here, then it will give you a what is the Linux system. Then it will give you a code how to install it. So first you need to download it. Then you need to verify this one. And with the sudo command, you can install this script. Once it's installed, then automatically it will be prompting host area. Okay. So it's very easy to install it, but there will be another. So once you are experiencing here, so there is another way that you can do it via the AWS services. Okay. So this is actually there are no costs from the Dynatrace perspective, but if you are using this AWS, because this service using an API to push the data. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, one agent will extract the information and push the data to Dynatrace. Same as in here, it will be done, but it will cost you based on the data pushed by this one agent. So I'm not asking to use this AWS service, but you can install one agent in one of your hosts, like in here. But if you are using a RDS service, then probably you cannot get it because it's a service. Then probably you have to go with this AWS service. Then it will add some cost. So in the free tier, you can experience this and you can play around. As Kapila has mentioned, like we are using a free source, the open source monitoring tool as well. There it won't cost anything, but it's similar to the Dynatrace, but sometimes some options are not available, some features are not available, but most of the time it's similar all the monitoring tools. Okay, so please share, raise, or if you have any questions. So I hope you understood about this monitoring and how you can use this in a practice, the best practice if you are using.
Okay, thanks, Mohan. And I actually forgot to mention during my session. So the exercise for this week is to actually install and configure Jenkins and Spinnaker in one of your EC2 instance. So try it out. Like you don't want to install that in Kubernetes, outside Kubernetes, because since you have 3 VMs, so you can actually try it out installing and configuring Jenkins and Spinnaker. So later we will discuss how to basically configure pipelines and all that. But for this week. Good if you can, try to install these two tools in your VM. Any questions, team? Anything you want to highlight or discuss? Okay, thank you. If you find, yes, hi Indiga.
Hi. Yeah. I just log in. I can do that next session.
Yeah. and Anything you want to say, Indiga? Highlight?
No, that's fine, Kapila. Yeah.
Okay.
If you can make me the presenter, I'll share the screen, Kapila.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think who is having host? Lakshita. You are the host, I guess.
Yeah, Indika, I made you as a host.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I think. Okay. Let me know when you're able to see my screen. Are you able to see the screen?
Still loading, Indiga.
All right. Is it fine now?
For me, it's still loading. Others,
For me, same. So still coming.
Okay. Is it fine now, or shall I reshare again?
I think, yeah, let's try to reshare. Indiga. Still
Okay.
loading. Yeah.
Okay. I reshare again.
Okay, it's loading. Still loading, India.
Okay. Too bad. Let me. Let me try to change the network and come. Okay. Hello. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, Jimmy.
Okay. Can you make me presenter? I think it has gone now.
You are the host, Indiga.
Okay, it's better now.
Yes, can see in the
I
yeah.
shared again. Can you check the it's visible?
Yes, slide is visible, but your voice is breaking. Hello? Can you hear me in there? Yes, team, I think Indica having some connectivity issues. Yeah, unfortunately, we had like stop today's session. We'll do this chaos engineering next time. Any questions, team? Anything you want to clarify? The demo just done by Mohan or Jenkins Spinnaker. If you have any doubt, just send a message on WhatsApp group. Okay, so we'll help you. And if you need any support to configure your AWS, like Kubernetes cluster and Spring Boot, and if you want like help on configuring Jenkins Spinnaker, please reach out to us, send a message, we'll help you. Yeah, that's about it. Then I think we can wind up the session for today. Thanks everyone. Thanks for joining. Thanks for your time. Really appreciate, and yeah. Thank you so much. Good night. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.